Good afternoon and welcome to Publish Now, a true one-stop content workflow for scholarly associations. This is an industry breakout session sponsored by KnowledgeWorks Global Limited. My name is Kevin Lomangino and I'm the Director of Consulting for KGL. I will be your moderator for today. And I'd like to start by introducing my fellow panelists. First up, we have Alex Kaler. She's the Director of KGL Editorial, and she's going to work us through the Smart Publish workflow that makes the one-stop content workflow work. We've got Tom Beyer, who is Tom Beyer? He's the Director of Platform Services for KGL Pub Factory. He's going to talk about our integrated online hosting services today. And then we also very kindly have Stephanie Austin, Senior Director of Publications and Content Strategy for the American Accounting Association. And she'll give you a little bit more detail on the client perspective of working with KGL as an organization that has implemented some elements of the one-stop workflow. But before we get into all of that, oh, sorry, I should have had that slide up. Let's talk a little bit about the challenges that scholarly publishers are facing, which make the one-stop workflow necessary. Certainly, these are things that we see in our consulting practice every single day. We've got business models that are changing. We've got movement from traditional subscriptions to hybrid OA to now fully OA business models, and that creates pressure to increase your publication volume. You've got to publish more because there's revenue associated with that volume, okay? But you can't just accept more papers and publish anything that comes in, because then your impact factor is going to go down, and people don't want that. So what does that mean? That means you've got to grow your quality submissions. You've got to bring in more submissions, and they've got to be good ones. And that's a difficult balancing act to pull off. And we see that challenge every day in our consulting practice. So what do you need to do to pull it off? You need to publish fast. You need to publish seamlessly. You need to give authors the experience that they're looking for. They want their content and their publishing experience to be very easy, and they want to get it out there as quickly as possible so they can show it to their community, start generating citations, all the things that authors want. And if you cannot provide that to them, we know that across the scholarly publishing landscape, there are competitors lining up in every field, basically, to siphon off those submissions, and they'll be more than happy to give that experience to your authors if you can't give it to them. And the situation in the industry today, the status quo is sort of a recipe for problems when you think about how you're going to meet this challenge. You've got a patchwork of different vendors working together. You've got handoffs from different vendors that create incompatibilities and delays and inefficiencies. And what does that translate to? That translates to authors that are not as satisfied as they could be, timelines that stretch on longer than they should, and basically a recipe for not meeting the needs of your authors and not rising to the challenge that we're seeing today in the industry. Now, I don't want to oversell what KGL can do here, but we do think that we have some solutions for you. And I'm going to hand it over now to my colleague, Alex Kaler, to tell you a little bit about what some of those solutions look like.
Okay, thanks so much, Kevin, for talking us through some of the challenges that scholarly associations are facing. So at KGL, we like to pride ourselves as really being the only publishing partner that's really capable of taking your research from the beginning of the content lifecycle all the way through to publication. And that's what we show here on this slide. We'll support your stakeholders all the way through, from authors to editors to readers to publishing operations and society leadership. Many of our clients only use some of our services. Most of our clients don't use all. We have increasing numbers of our clients that are starting to use all of the services that we offer, but we are happy to, provide our services a la carte. But with KGL, you truly can, as a society or as a client, have an experience where you have one partner for the entire process all the way through. So it starts at manuscript submission. We've got an expert peer review team, managing editors and editorial associates that are highly experienced with many, many years of experience supporting clients of all different sizes, small journals, large journals, commercial publishers. We're experienced in all the major manuscript management systems and even some of the one-offs and proprietary systems as well. And very experienced in best practice. And so we can follow your workflows or help you transition to best practice workflows. The next couple phases on here, intelligent automation, copy editing, proofing, these are all part of the Smart Edit workflow that Tom's going to go into in detail in a little bit. But essentially we're able to handle copy editing, your XML composition, and the proof process for authors. So you can have a handoff from acceptance and stay with KGL for your production process. I did want to dwell a little bit here on accessibility. KGL has born accessible workflows that ensure well-structured metadata, logical reading order, and WCAG and 508 compliance, making your content available to all readers. We've also got a sister company, Sheridan, which accepts finished files for issue printing at one of 11 different facilities. Tom's also going to go over our online hosting. So, once you've been through the copy editing and proofing process, copy editing, composition, and proofing process, we can do your online hosting. We can also do your printing. And so this really is what makes KGL, possibly a one-stop shop for you. I just want to go back a slide here. Okay. So there's two other groups of services that I want to talk about as well. One is consulting and one is society services. So Kevin mentioned our consulting group a little bit. Our consulting group can help develop a strategy for your publishing program, can help you manage your relationship with your publisher if you work with a commercial publisher, can assist in new product development, market research and analytics to support your business decisions or to support the growth of your publications, editorial strategy to drive quality submissions. Kevin was talking about that a little bit before, and also editor-in-chief recruitment. So there's a wide variety of services our consulting group offers. And then we also offer society services. So this would be professional association management, meeting management, marketing and social media, market research, and advertising sales for scholarly societies. And one advantage really of coming to work with KGL is even if you don't use every single service that we have on offer, we as a company learn from each other. We're a large company, which is a big collaborative group that, our peer review is better because we have colleagues who are in publishing. And so our peer review team really understands the production process. And our production team gains knowledge from our peer review team and from our consulting group, for instance. So as a company, we're all learning from each other and really are, you'll see, on the cutting edge of best practices in the industry. So this next slide shows Smart Publish. So as I said, Tom is in a minute going to go into our Smart Suite, which gets into the individual tools that are used for copy editing and for composition and for proofing, for instance. But this Smart Publish workflow is really sort of our way to encapsulate, if you use all of the tools that are in our Smart Suite, and you take advantage of all of the automations that are available, then you can have an incredibly fast turnaround time, faster than you may have thought possible. So if you're going to use Smart Publish, basically it's KGL's high-speed, quality-assured publishing workflow. So it really unites human intelligence and care with sophisticated technologies such as NLP, AI, automated templates, and production engines. So this alleviates wait times while achieving best-in-class editorial and typographic quality with a record-setting time to publication. So what are the steps? So this is all automated, but the first step would be metadata validation. So, from the time that you have acceptance, we'll automate, ingest your manuscript in an automated way, and then identify the content using artificial intelligence. Then evaluate the manuscript using natural language processing. And at this point, when you evaluate the manuscript, it can be determined whether the manuscript can move through the rest of the process in an automated way, or whether you need some human level copy editing. If it's determined that your manuscript doesn't need human level copy editing and can move on through the process, then we can apply the editorial style based on your journal rules, create XML based on document type definition, compose your template, and then finally generate the author proof. So every single one of those steps can be done in an automated way if you don't need manual intervention. And what that means is that a good portion of manuscripts can go from acceptance to author proof within 24 hours or within 48 hours. And we've done some of this work for large scale commercial publishers and found, again, up to 25% of the manuscripts don't need any intervention at all. So by taking advantage of this, fully automated workflow step by step, we're able to pull out the manuscripts that need manual intervention, but the ones that don't can move incredibly fast. And this is going to give you an overall, much quicker time to publication. Okay, Tom, you're up next.
Hi, everybody. I'm Tom Beyer. I'm the Director of Platform Services at KGL Pub Factory. And as the nerdiest member of this group, I get to talk about the sort of nuts and bolts of how we actually try to implement the vision that Alex was talking about. And it really starts with the Smart Suite set of products, if I can figure out. The other thing is that I'm also pretty terrible at running technology, even though I'm a technology person. I'm all about software. So anyways, I'm going to talk a little bit about Smart Suite, which is the suite of tools that really allows for what Alex was talking about on the production side. So we're up to Smart Suite 3.0. This is a collection of tools that have been around for a while, but there's some new ones, and I'll talk a little bit about how all this works. So Smart Review is a system that helps our publishers with submissions in peer review. So, detecting conflicts of interest. And I have to check my cheat sheet here because this is not actually my domain of expertise. Yeah, so checking submissions, identifying appropriate reviewers. That's really a crucial part, is trying to match up and find reviewers for manuscripts automatically. Checking conflicts of interest. And also just doing some triage for the language quality. So really helping publishers on the submission side of things. So right at the beginning. Then with accepted manuscripts, after it's gone through peer review and been accepted, it flows into Smart Edit. And Smart Edit is the tool that takes that Word file, which is from a computer's point of view, just a stream of text, and really pulls it apart and figures out what's what, who the authors are, what's the actual structure of that thing. And it does it by turning it into XML underneath, but still providing a nice user-friendly editing tool on top so that you can continue to manipulate that file as it goes through the process. There's also a completely automated module, Smart Compose, that combines the XML with your layouts and creates page proofs. So now you've got really nice page proofs, you've got good XML, you're really good to go, and you've got a nice editing interface on top, and you're ready to go to Smart Proof. Oh, and the other thing to mention about Smart Edit is that's really where all the smarts of the smart system are embedded. I mean, they cover the whole thing. And in fact, there's some really interesting stuff in Smart Proof now where you're pulling in some of the artificial intelligence and natural language processing. But that's where it sort of analyzes the content and figures out whether or not we can really push a fast workflow or a slower workflow. And this is all based on publisher rules for how they want things to work. Smart Track is really the tracking system overall. It's the workflow management tool, so you can figure out where your manuscripts are in the process. And Smart Report analyzes the whole thing, gives you nice reports, so you can sort of see what's going on with your overall publishing program. So that's sort of the suite of tools. And Smart Review and Smart Report are brand new. We've got other things coming down the pipeline, but can't talk about them yet. Come on, one of these buttons worked the last time.
It's the right arrow.
Yeah, that's what I'm pushing. Oh, there it is. Ha, thank you. As you can see, for a technical person, I'm really terrible. Okay, so this is why I got pushed out of engineering 15 years ago. So I'm now going to talk a little bit about our hosting system, because of course, once you get out of the proofing system and everybody's happy with the manuscript, you want to publish it. And we provide a publishing platform, surprise, surprise, of which the core is that sitegen module, even though it's sort of off on the side here. It's really, that's the thing that defines all of your sites, allows you to configure them, allows you to make updates very easily, allows you to generate new sites because people are constantly coming up with new ideas and needing new sites to host them on. So that's kind of the core of our system. There's a bunch of other modules, and just like Smart Suite, you can pick and choose as you need. So everybody needs, well, not everybody, but some people need e-commerce. IntelliWorks is our business intelligence system, because after all, you really do need to analyze your usage and see how people are reading and coming to your content to inform your strategy going forward. IntelliAlert is a smart and high-end tool for sending out alerts and, again, getting analytics on that. And PubGen is our newest module, and it's for handling content that that goes through a much more accelerated workflow where you actually author the content directly in the platform. This is useful for experiments. It's useful for things like news or blog entries that have a really quick turnaround time, don't need to go through the full XML process, but you still want to treat as real content tightly associated with that core book and journal content. We also, of course, have good support for interactives. So PubGen is used for things like blogs and news and podcasts and videos and interactives, all that kind of stuff. So you have a beautiful site. If nobody comes, what's the point? There's a huge amount that goes on with your hosting platform that is not that sort of end shiny product. It's all the stuff underneath that ties you into the overall scholarly communication system. SEO and discovery are incredibly important. So we have to push huge amounts of metadata and content out to all of the various services. And depending on the kind of publisher you are, the services are different. So for some people, if it's not in PubMed, it's not really discoverable. For other people, there's entirely other databases that we have to worry about. But that's a really critical part of the platform, that sort of underlying ability to take all that information and disseminate it to other computer systems, right? So that's a whole point. That's a whole part that we get worried about a lot, but that is not sort of seen on the front end. Whoops, did I skip too far? I did. I just wanted to talk a little bit about the fact that one of the things that makes us unique as a hosting platform is the larger KGL ecosystem, and our publishers are able to pull and use various parts of the system as they need. We've got people who do use that, the Smart Suite, full production suite, and deliver content to us using that, but we have many that don't. KGL Consulting is on hand if you've got questions about your your publishing business. We do a lot of work with our sister company, Sheridan, who does the printing and also has a subscription management system. So lots of different ways that our publishers can make use of the wider ecosystem, and they all do it in slightly different ways. And to drill into that a little bit, we're now going to invite Stephanie Austin up to the stage to give her perspective on how that all works.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Austin. I'm from the American Accounting Association. And I guess I was asked here today because we are partnering with KGL for quite a few of our services. In fact, I guess I need to move the slide. There we go. We first came to KGL through their sister, Sheridan, for print services. We were looking for a new printer, and we began partnering with them for those services in 2021. And right off the bat, we were really impressed by their clear communication throughout the entire process in having to move our warehouse of journals. I should mention that we have 17 accounting research journals that also publish educational materials, as well as journals that target our practitioners. So we have a very healthy collection. We have high quality journals that have a very steady volume of submissions. So we had a very healthy collection, but we had pretty outdated processes, and some of them were quite complicated. And so through our experience with Sheridan, which was so positive, when we got ready to overhaul our journals program, we turned to their sister KGL. And in talking with them, we have slowly started to overhaul our program piece by piece. We didn't go end to end, but we picked and chose the things that we needed at the moment. And over the last year, we've added new services. So we started after print. We came to them for their production services, and we're currently using their Smart Suite for production. And once we got that migration underway, we were gaining so many efficiencies in our program because of the Smart Suite and the artificial intelligence that they use, that it led us to really consider our internal staff and the way that we were utilizing human resources. And in turn, we also knew that we were identifying areas where we needed to shore up our best practices. And that's when we turned to KGL for their editorial services. They have brought another level of professionalism to our collection. They're really helping implement and bring consistent best practice across all of our journals. And it's been really great to collaborate with people who are experts at what they do. And so those are some of my takeaways. If you're an association and you're looking for a group to partner with, it is important to choose experts. And there's a lot of people to choose from. And the reason why we kind of kept coming back to KGL was because of our experience. It was always so positive, always clearly communicated the things that they needed, what we needed to deliver, what the timelines were. And as we began to find gaps in some of our own processes, we were able to work collaboratively with them. So we knew that they were experts. They were also willing to really adapt to some of our style, but also suggest to us better ways that we could improve our processes. So it was really nice to work collaboratively. She talked about how their teams work collaboratively together, and we've seen that because we did start with production services, but then when we brought in the editorial team, they began to work behind the scenes and have conversations that really helped bring a lot more efficiencies to our program. That's what we wanted. We needed to bring ourselves into the 21st century, and KGL has helped us do that. So look for a model that makes sense for you. When we were looking, we knew we did not need end-to-end services, but we have slowly replaced the services that we have had, or that we did have, and we've slowly almost achieved an end-to-end service in the end. We didn't start out with that intention, but that's more or less where we're ending up. And so there are some things on our horizon that we're looking to add, but right now we are probably 6 to 8 months into our last migration, and things are going very well, and we're starting to achieve all the efficiencies that took us to them in the first place. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks very much, Stephanie. I'd like to open it up for questions. And if you do have a question, please come up to the mic so you can be recorded. Stephanie, it sounds like you've been through a lot already, but I'm just wondering, is there anything else on the horizon for you that you're looking to implement with your program?
We do have an entire program of books and monographs that we've not really fully marketed in the past, nor do we have an easy way for our members to purchase books. Right now, it's a very manual process. So yes, we are actually talking to them about their e-commerce solutions to bring a shopping cart with a web page with all of our books and monographs. And we're actually working on gathering our inventory to ship to them any day.
Okay,
So we're very excited about that.
great. Alex, what's next for Smart Review? Are there anything on the horizon that you'd like to tell us about?
Sure. Smart Review is something that we've really just gotten started in developing this year. So the first piece of Smart Review that we've developed is a COI checker, which was referenced earlier, but just an automated way to check for conflict of interest between authors, reviewers, editors, different groups. And we're also working within Smart Review on an automated way to help identify reviewers as well. And I know there are a lot of, various different reviewer identification tools out there, but we're working on ours. The other thing I think that's coming down the pike for KGL is working on Smart Author, which is bringing some of the tools that you heard about, some of the technology that you heard about that we're using in our Smart Edit suite, and seeing whether we can bring that to the front end of the process, basically prior to submission. So having a way to evaluate the manuscript up front and resolve some of those issues that sometimes get resolved during production, try and get those resolved up front. And so, that's really the next big thing.
Mhm. Okay.
Mhm.
We're just about at the end of our time, but I'm going to leave Tom the last word.
Okay, hold on. We've got a question.
Oh, we
in the
do.
audience.
Sorry. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, go for it.
A web-based author proofing,
Mhm.
is that done, do they proof it on a PDF, or they're looking at a red line Word document? How's that handled?
That is, right. So it's a web-based tool, and I believe that it is a redlined PDF.
You can actually do it either way.
You can do it either way.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. If you've got authors that are open to it, they can edit directly in the system. Which is hugely efficient.
Right.
But for publishers and authors that still are comfortable doing it through a redline PDF, that you can do that as well.
So a lot of editors don't like authors to edit, right?
Yeah.
And the
Mhm.
manuscript is sometimes,
Yeah.
they mess up stuff that was already done.
Yeah,
Mhm.
one of the nice things about the system is you can lock it down so that the authors can really only comment on the things that they have been, told to look at. So we can alleviate some of those editor concerns. Yeah.
And then I have one more.
Mhm.
The electronic deliverables, what is that? Books, online, HTML, what are those?
So the electronic deliverables for journals is typically JATS as the XML with PDFs and all the associated files. That's the underlying full text usually. On the book side, it's usually bits, and then it can be ebooks if you're sending books to commercial stores, things like that. Well, and KGL produces the ebooks as well.
Was there one more on this side? No?
If I could add just a comment, one of the things that we found as an association is that they were able to integrate really well with the platforms we were already using. So because we're not end to end with them right now, they're able to go back and forth between the platforms we have, and they seem to work very seamlessly. And then to your question about the smart proofing, that was actually one of the things that attracted us to them. We needed to solve that pain point for our authors and editors. And we feel like we landed on a good solution.
Great. So I just want to end by putting in a plug for case studies that we have available written out. If you would like to see one of those, my colleague Mike Groth up in the front here will be happy to scan your badge, and we can just send that right out to you via the app, I think. So
The Who app.
yeah,
Mhm.
the Who app. All right, it looks like that's it. Thanks very much for your time, everybody.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah.